Today's planting day at Farrow's Villa. You can start to see all of the finishing touches in the hardscape start to get improved by the addition of plants. You can see Farrow's busy behind me with the team doing the first position of the plants. The way that we work at Weldon is we hand position all of our plants on every project. It usually takes a good few hours on a medium-sized villa, and Farrow's doing what I'd say is the first fix. We position every plant in the entire garden, and then we can go around 2 or 3 times to do the fine-tuning and improve it each time.
Choosing plants for the garden has also been one of the most difficult things that I've had to do. I chose silvery plants to begin with, but also plants that have different texture and growth pattern. These plants, for example, grow bushy and tall and big, and I knew I wanted to hide a little bit of the walls. With that, I wanted to complement this look of these very big tall shrubs with something of a similar growth pattern, but a little bit lower. And this is where I chose the leucophyllum. So the leucophyllum also grows like a heavy big bush, and it also has dark silver leaf texture. So you've got that same color more or less, but different leaf sizes. These two are very fluffy and soft. So I knew I wanted to break it up with architectural planting. And this is where this Epicarius cactus and this Agave siciliana comes in. And then finally, I wanted something that's also a little bit more soft. So that's where the rosemary came in. So the rosemary is lower, it has a great scent, and I think it'll be really nice along the pool edge. The theme for the garden, I didn't want to gravitate too much away from that. I knew that this facade is like my painting, but everything else, I didn't want it to compete too much with that composition, but I also want it to feel like it's the same vibe. It's going to be the soft grasses look. I'm also going to add cacti to break it up within the planting of the grasses. So talking about grasses that give this feathery soft look, we were in Al Ain in one of the nurseries, and we were walking by and we saw this just growing in the wild. It was very big, very lush, very green, very soft, and we fell in love with it. The name of this is Cymbopogon commutatus, and I've never planted it in a garden before. In the nursery, when we went there, it was about this height. So positioning these is going to be a little bit tricky because I know in day one, we need to place them very far apart so that when they grow, they don't get too crowded. But then as for the growth pattern, how messy it's going to be, how much of these are gonna come up, is it going to self-seed? We don't know.
When we do our gardens, we design the planting at a conceptual level. So we have all of the plants in a mix. We decide the percentage of the mix and the density of those plants, so we know exactly the right quantity of each species in the entire garden. However, we don't position each plant on a drawing. We only do that for the trees. Right, we're going to do a quick demonstration of how we approach planting. We've got a small planting bed here with about 4 species, and we're going to walk you through our steps, how we position the plants and come up with an interesting composition.
So we started off by positioning our specimen tree, which is the most important thing, the highest thing that we needed in this bed. And then that same logic, we carry it through, and then from this composition of plants that we've selected for this planting bed, we'll start again with the highest one and the most architectural. So we'll start with this one.
Yeah, let's put it down that end. I think we want to create a bit of balance in this planting bed. So to do that, we've got the tree on one end, and the second most important thing will be at the opposite end. You can see the agaves, they do trap leaves. And when that plant gets really big, the tree drops a lot of leaves. It can actually be quite a problem to maintain it. Proximity to the pool as well. In this case, you're going to be walking around the pool there, so
that's not going to work.
Probably want to bring that one forward because you've got more space to work with on this side of the planting bed, less on that side. And that'll also help avoid the 2 structural specimen plants being in a straight line. Cool, and now we've got 2 plants left. So we've got the big Cymbopogon grass. As Farrow mentioned, it gets really, really tall. So I suggest what we do is we fill this end of the bed with the grass around the base of the tree, and then we can use rosemary later around the agave.
Correct. So this is already quite dense.
It is, for this grass, definitely. So often when we're planting like a small native grass or pennisetum, this kind of spacing would be more or less okay. The challenge we've always got is, are we planting for instant impact to give a really strong impression on day one, or are we planting for ease of maintenance and longevity?
The clients often like to want to have this instant impact that looks there, but I know what the plant's going to be, so I'd rather prepare for that.
Great, so we'll take some out.
Yeah.
I think we should do it. I guess one of the last things we do when we get to this stage is start to look at the relative spacing and is it an interesting layout? Always a bit more challenging in linear plant beds like this. You haven't got a lot of space to work with the ins and outs, so you inevitably end up with some lines.
And these lines can be broken up with things that pop completely different, but again, we should be careful. If I start doing composition of here, I know eventually this is going to be completely swallowed up by the grasses.
Yeah.
So
do you think we should put it around the agave?
probably, yeah.
So I hope this has been a useful glimpse into what goes into choosing plants and composing them for your garden. Think about light and shade, think about the size of the plant on day one and how it's going to mature. But if you're stuck, then reach out and ask us some questions. We'll be sure to help you.
We'll be checking in on the garden in a few months to make sure the plants are settling in and starting to flourish. So make sure you follow us for more and come back for episode 6, coming soon.